You ever tried Crystal Pepsi or, hell, Pepsi Blue? If you have, then you know what it tasted like. Okay, now think about a combo of those two. You seeing it? Okay, now throw alcohol in it. Wait, what? Alcohol? You're trying to tell me that there was going to be a beer version of Pepsi? Well, yes, kind of, and before you ask, it's not the whole they put freaking beer in Pepsi thing. I lived around where one of those Pepsi factories are. The place is only for shipping drinks by PepsiCo in our state, like Pepsi, Mountain Dew, etc. And if you're wondering, yes, that means that we have those Pepsi shipping trucks running around here too. I've been told of this urban myth around my local area, and it has to do with a Pepsi drink that I've never heard of. Some told me it's like Pepsi Blue, but with some sort of beer they've never tried. Others say that it has that drink Heineken mixed with the Pepsi flavoring. If you've heard about Hyper Coke, then this is kind of like that. Once that Hyper Coke story popped up, the whole myth on this Pepsi drink sparked up again. What's the drink called, you may be asking? Pepsi Smack. Pepsi Smack, or as others called it in my local area, Bar Fight Pepsi, was Pepsi's move on aiming at a more adult drink than their own normal drink. They never wanted to keep the Pepsi brand name on it because they wanted it to have a catchphrase, just smack it, since they love the idea of a beer Pepsi that you can just smack the can and whatnot. These were going to be sold in the beer section of stores, and then later its own vending machine. The Pepsi Smack vending machine was set to have 4 drinks on it. Those 4 being Pepsi Smack, Normal Pepsi, Crystal Pepsi, and lastly Diet Pepsi. These vending machines will only appear at malls, clubs, and bars around some states. I also heard rumors that the company got the likeness of Max Headroom to do the ads, but he's not like the Coca-Cola version. This one was based off of the whole news hijacking one, with a gritty attitude, glitches a lot, and would mock other soda brands that's not Pepsi, or made by PepsiCo. He would also be more weirder than the Coke version, having a taste of sex, and only sex. The plan was running great, that is until they tested the drink to their taste testers. You see, this is where the whole myth happened, and it relates with the factory from my hometown. You see, my hometown wasn't the nicest around. Sure, you'll get the happy people, but you're gonna get the most abusive people you'll ever meet. The whole myth played out like this. Pepsi hired a group of 20 people to try out the new drink and see how it tasted. This is only for that if the drink would be harmful or bad, then they'll scrap the drink and would just restock on some of their other products. If it was good, then the drink will get greenlit and will start to spread around stores and whatnot. 19 out of 20 people tried it and loved it. The other guy said that it didn't sit well with him, and said that he can go home early. This drink is where you can replace the whole idea of getting drunk to full-on sugar high, or as the workers nicknamed it, on crack. Pepsi then greenlit Pepsi Smack for its test locations, which did well for the first few weeks. And then the first story hit. Headlines had this: Chaotic man snaps during party. Almost killed local teens, all due to Pepsi Smack. Sounds like those clickbait videos, right? Ooh, it gets better. Then you'll start to see everyone acting weird around the area. Teachers would sneak in the drink into some of the schools, cops started to chug the drink while on the job, and the whole chaos just begun. The date was November 7th, 1989. For our hometown locals nicknamed the day Pepsi Smacked. It had all started at a local bar. The bar all got into a bar fight, both inside and outside. Heck, it went so far that even weapons were on the loose in the place. This will later affect parents, loved ones, and many more. One of them was with these girls. I think one of the girls' names was Clover or something. Ugh. I heard she just got fired from that Nickelodeon hotel or something, but anywho, these girls were having a party at this one girl's house. Their little brother was there as well. and all of a sudden, they raped the kid. I mean, they just full on fucked the kid, all of them. Another was this one guy who works at some sound studio, and he started to kill most of his coworkers with the sound system they made by popping their eardrums. And lastly, the worst of them all of those locals who lived in the town, yeah, they went on a purge. This lasted for the whole time, and it almost destroyed the whole town, and once the drink ran out, they got even worse. First, you'll see people breaking stuff around the town. The next, you'll see people starting to kill each other with the stuff they have. I lost my uncle from this day, and it still scares me about this. But my family hasn't told me about how he died, so that's why I believe this whole myth. Anywho, after what people around the state saw around that town, the city sued PepsiCo on making the drink. Turns out the beer wasn't only just beer. They dropped a tiny bit of acid in there too. That explains the whole chaos around the area. Luckily, the smack stopped there. Pepsi scrapped the idea for good. Not even gonna mention it. I heard that they even brainwashed themselves just to forget about it. But I think some idiot wanted to trick me on believing him for something, I don't know. If a company does this to us, and changes us on who we are, then we'll know once the place turns into chaos. Just smack it, you know? And that was Pepsi Smack, written by Sonic Pepsi. Review time. Not a bad story, but it, could be better. And mainly because there are things in it that didn't make sense to me, that I didn't like. I'm going to start off with the fact that there are a lot of typos and some punctuation errors. I don't know why there's so many typos, but I will give an example in the fourth paragraph. This sentence right here. Some told me it's like Pepsi Blue, but with some short of beer they never tired. Others say that it has that drink Heineken mixed with the Pepsi favoring. Yeah, that's not the only sentence with a whole bunch of typos. Those are kind of recurrent throughout the story. Occasionally, of course. Now, obviously you can go back and fix that, but I'm still going to have to dock a point for it. Now for the actual story. I like the idea of this drink being so addictive that it causes actual crimes to be committed. Such as the idea of people sneaking it into workplaces, a worker blowing out people's eardrums with his speaker, that the rape of that girl at that party. Yeah, this is I can definitely see acid causing that. Though it kind of escalates a little too far. It kind of gets way too into things with the whole purge. A purge of a whole city. Granted, there's gonna be some people who don't drink the Pepsi Smack. So why would there be a whole on destruction, a whole on destruction of a place like this guy's hometown, all because of a damn drink. And one last thing I want to point out. They dropped a tiny bit of acid into the Pepsi. Why did they do that? You didn't explain. You also didn't explain how they could have brainwashed themselves in the rumor to forget about it. Why did they add the acid in there? Did they add it in there to make it more addicting? To make people buy it more? Was it meant to be some sort of greed scandal? Was that the point? You could have explained that further. I would have loved an explanation. Review time, I would have to give this a 7? I'll give it a 7. Mainly because I understand what's going on and why things are happening, but it escalates too quickly. Not too quickly, too far with the whole purge, and there are some things that aren't explained well, such as the acid part. But as always, this is simply my personal opinion, and we all have our opinions regarding these stories. What do you think of the story? What would you do to improve upon it? And as always, I will see you all in the next narration. I love you all. Bless. Take care.